At Adventure Bike TV, we have been lucky enough to go to a number of Horizons Unlimited events in the UK. But this year, we wanted to go somewhere a bit more exotic. So we came to Horizons Unlimited, South Africa!
For South Africa, Cobus Fourie sent us an email and said, we'd like to have a travelers meeting in South Africa, and I have a venue. Cobus owns the Elgro River Lodge in Potchefstroom, or near Potchefstroom. Fantastic location, perfect for a venue, and he's an amazing host. So it's still small, but it's growing, and there's lots of very passionate people. They love it, so it's working really well.
Almost as soon as I arrived, it was time to go on a ride out, which I was rather excited about. I mean, who wouldn't be when you had the opportunity to ride in a game park alongside zebra and other animals? Were great fun too. Hard-packed mud with just a thin layer of sand on top. Riding on this was so much fun. So the rain came, seemingly out of nowhere. The riding slowed to a crawl and bikes started to go down.
So as an introduction to riding in Africa, or South Africa, compared to riding in North Africa or West Africa, I would say that's a fairly broad spectrum of riding conditions. Started in sort of cloudy sunshine, and then within 20 minutes we had a tropical storm, and what was a fairly kind of compacted, hard sand and gravel track turned into a sandy swamp, which was interesting. I think only one guy went down, which is pretty good, but it was in places that was really slippery, really slippery.
Sadly, the heavy rain persisted for the rest of the day, but adventurers in South Africa are no different to the rest of the world. The Horizons Unlimited spirit is strong, and nothing was cancelled. Talks and workshops all continued, although sometimes with a change of location to avoid the deep puddles.
One of the many reasons why so many people come to the Horizons Unlimited hub events isn't just because they can meet other like-minded motorcyclists, and it's not just because they can drink some beer in the evenings and do some great rides. It's because there is so much to learn at these events. And for example, we've got Grant Johnson behind me who's talking about tyre changes. And it's not just about tyre changes, they go into a huge amount of detail about how different tyres react under different conditions and different temperatures, how you can use different tyres with different rims, which ones work with tubeless, which ones work with tube tyres. And of course they do get into how do you deal with a tyre when it's blown or it's come off the rim or anything like that. And they even go into details such as how can you stuff your tyre with grass or your underwear just to make sure you can get back to safety. And when you look at the faces of the people here, they are really loving it. I've had quite a big honour paid for me actually. I'm going to be the keynote speaker at the hub event today, and there's a lot of people that I'm going to be following who've done a lot of preparation. We've got kit laid out in here where we've had the talks about camping. I've just been watching the guys outside doing talks about bike control, and I'll be talking about my med trip that I did back in 2010. Luckily, I do enjoy doing the talking, and just waiting for the audience to turn up. After a hard day of riding, of lectures and listening to fabulously interesting people doing their talks, One of the things that is common across all the hub events is a fabulous social in the evening, and South Africa is no different. But here, as well as the wonderful company, the food is just incredible. In addition to the amazing company, the great riding and the fabulous food, the storms here are utterly epic.
The next morning, the sky had cleared, and there was another day packed with talks and shows, and for me, some slow riding skills.
Don't come. At least I didn't come last. This morning we're on the slow skills course put together by the same guys that we were doing the practice on the pavement, but now we're on wet, muddy grass. But putting into practice all the things that we were doing, so all the body positioning, the clutch control. I was lucky because my bike has already got its tyres down to 0.3 bar, which on road tyres makes a huge difference on the grass and the mud.
I was rather proud of myself. Although I didn't set the fastest outright pace, I had by far the fewest feet down errors. If the organisers counted them as penalties, I would have won by a country mile. However, I was thoroughly put in my place when Johan, the instructor, went around the course 2 up without putting a foot down and still beat my time. Reality check delivered and understood.
Of course, all good things must come to an end, and sadly we're at the end of our weekend with Horizons Unlimited South Africa. But as with every single Horizons event, we've met wonderful friendly people, made new friends, seen some great demonstrations and learnt a hell of a lot. But you know, one of the things that I found most humbling was the stories from the local people about travelling just in this country. There is so much diversity here and so much to see. It really is incredibly humbling. But sadly, it is the end and we have to go home.
We want to invite anybody that's doing Africa to plan to be in South Africa for the Travelers Meeting.